A society to have order and to protect its citizens must have rules. Rules or laws are created and agencies are formed to enforce the rules. In the United States, you are innocent until proven guilty. Our judicial system, our courts, have the task of determining guilt. When guilt is found, the courts mete out the consequences. If we follow the rules of our society, we may never have to face the bar of justice inside a criminal courtroom. Join us now as we see an actual Lake County court in session.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Miller. Could everyone, including visitors, please raise your right hands? Do each of you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and this you do under the pains and penalty of perjury? Thank you. You can put your hands down. Each of you has a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. When you get to the microphone, I need to know if you're under 18. I need to know if you're not a citizen of the United States, because if you're not a citizen, pleading today could affect your immigration status. I need to know if you're on probation or parole, because pleading today could affect your probation or parole status. If you plead today, you're giving up your right to have a trial and to have an attorney represent you on that trial. If I sentence you today to a criminal case, you have mandatory costs you will have to pay. You'll have to go to room 105 and either pay them or sign up for the payment plan. The least those mandatory costs can be is $273. That's the minimum. If you have a battery charge, the minimum is $700, and it goes up from there. All right, we're being tape recorded today and videotaped. These are the in custodies over here? It's Mr. Z's, right? And I forgot your client's name.
Senator Stephanie Hervey, Your Honor.
I'm right on top. Okay, come on up, Miss Hervey.
Your Honor, do you want me here, over there?
Your call. Ms. Hervey was charged with 2 counts, 1 count of battery, 1 count of violation of an injunction.
That is
and
correct.
Because I had some issues about the way the injunction was worded, I reduced her sentence to
29 days.
29 days credit for any time she's done.
Correct, Your Honor. I met with her yesterday at the jail after we spoke. I explained to her all the details that would be on the plea form. She indicated she understood those. And in my rush to get out of here, Your Honor, I left my file. So I do have her name on it, but I don't have the case number on it. If the court would be kind enough to...
She's got 2 cases. She's pleading to both cases.
That is correct, Your Honor. This is a global disposition, 29 days for both.
Okay. And today is the 30th, 2013. All right, so the cases are 2012 MM 7425 and 2013 MM 211.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And we have a written plea?
She's present, so I was under the impression that we would just be tendering the plea to the court.
It's going to be a straight-up plea to the court,
Correct.
and it's going to be 29 days credit for any time she's done on each. She wasn't on probation on the other one?
It was not, Your Honor.
So that's it then.
Yes, Your Honor. Please and thank you.
All right, we need to print her on the battery.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so we'll start over here. Could I have Stephen Anderson, please, to the microphone? Stephen Anderson to the microphone. Mr. Anderson, you've been charged with driving while license suspended. You have a valid driver's license now. Hooray. You were suspended for not paying a ticket. Mr. Sandor, can we change it to a civil?
Yes, Your Honor, and I've already discussed that with Mr. Anderson. The issue lies with the fact that he did pay his ticket on time. However, there was a $35 outstanding fee in Osceola County that he was unaware of that he has subsequently paid. It was one of those where I'm not sure how Your Honor would feel about his fine. The state would still ask for the $50 cost of prosecution.
Okay. Fine waived. Must pay $50 cost of prosecution by August 1st, 2013, or DL suspended. All right, if you don't pay the $50 cost of prosecution by August 1st, your license will get suspended again.
I pay it today?
Okay, you're entering a no contest plea to the amended charge of a civil driving while license suspended. I'm withholding on the amended charge of a civil driving while license suspended. And you must pay the $50 by August 1st or we'll suspend again. All right, thank you very much. We'll get you your paperwork in just a moment. Mr. Morrow, jump right up means jump right up. Okay, next is going to be Noel Switzer. Where's Noel Switzer? Same to you. Jump right up as soon as he's finished. Mr. Morrow, you are charged with a conservation violation.
Yes, Your Honor, and I am on probation for,
And what?
I'm on probation.
This will violate your probation, and you have felony charges pending.
No, he does.
Do you live on Hobby Way?
Yes, but they were
I
said
believe
they were
that's
only
his
misdemeanor.
brother.
That's his brother that has felonies.
It says Christopher at the top.
I know that there are outstanding felony charges with Christopher Michael versus Christopher Randolph.
Michael Morrow is his brother, Michael John Morrow.
Okay, the printout I have says Christopher R. Morrow has this whole slew of felony charges.
That's probably what he's on probation for. He's on SO under probation for 8 years, the GPS monitoring.
Yes, what he's on probation for. This will violate his probation, so he needs to say not guilty and talk to an attorney.
Your Honor, may I speak, please? My son has some emotional disability. I'm his mother. The charge was for failing to comply with the environment. The code enforcement people came out and they gave him 2 weeks to clean up his yard. And we had cleaned up the yard and apparently it wasn't to their satisfaction. And so we cleaned it up. They were out on a Friday, and by Monday, we had it cleaned to their satisfaction. And they stated that they had dropped the charges of a messy yard.
It doesn't have anything to do with cleaning up. It says he failed to obtain a permit.
Oh, he had the permit for that. That was, golly, that was like 5 years ago.
It says he'd been using the address to scrap and store solid waste without getting a permit. Officer Gritter had warned Mr. Morrow in the past. He still continues to
Ma'am,
use
that's
his
not-
property as a scrapyard.
No,
That's the first time
All right, this is not the trial. You'll enter a not guilty plea. You're present. A not guilty plea. Are you going to get an attorney, a private attorney, or do you need the public defender?
public defender.
It sounds like he owns his own home.
Yes.
Yes,
He's-
ma'am.
Well, I bought the home for him because,
Then he may need to refinance it and get the money to pay an attorney. He has an asset that has funds, so try to get a private attorney. If you're not able to afford a private attorney at that time, we'll talk about the PD next time I see you. Ms. Angie will put the next court date on there, which will be plea negotiation. If you think they were dropping the charges, then you go to code enforcement and have them contact the state attorney. As far as we know, they want to go forward.
okay.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Next is Noel Switzer. Mr. Switzer, you're charged with what appears to be a first offense DUI. Most people with a DUI would like to talk to an attorney before they decide what to do. Are you going, thank you for dressing so respectfully for the court.
Thank you, ma'am.
Are you going to plead to the DUI with kind of standard sanctions? Or are you going to say not guilty and talk to an attorney?
Not guilty.
Your record is perfectly clean. A call came into the sheriff's office that there was a red pickup all over the road. The complainant said that the vehicle went off the road at Lakeshore Hammock Ridge. EMS responded. They found the driver sitting in the driver's seat with his seatbelt on, keys in the ignition, and ignition running. They noticed an odor of alcohol. Asked the driver if he'd been drinking. He admitted he had. The fire department determined that the driver had not been involved in an accident, and was not in need of medical attention. I responded to the scene, found the driver sitting in the back of the fire truck. I walked up to make contact with him. I noticed his eyes were bloodshot, glassy, speech was slurred, eyes were droopy, but the 2 breath samples were zeros. The driver was transported to Claremont, where he provided the breath samples, and then Officer Walsh of Leesburg conducted a DRE evaluation. Officer Walsh is a DRE?
Yes, Your Honor.
I could not remember that. Do you have a copy of that report?
No, Your Honor, the state didn't have an offer at this time. He did voluntarily provide blood and urine, so the state's just waiting on those results.
All right, are you going to get a private attorney, or do you need the public defender?
Private attorney?
Okay, private attorney is, you're entering a not guilty plea. Not guilty, and you're going to get your own attorney. I agree, you need an attorney. All right, thank you, sir. We'll see you at your next court date. We'll write it down on the court sheet. Don't leave till you get it in your hand. All right, could I have Florence Thomas to the microphone, please? All right, Miss Florence Thomas, you are charged with disturbing the peace and resisting an officer without violence. Those are your new charges. I sentenced you in September to a driving while license suspended and told you, actually, we did not mark it on her court sheet. The no new law violations part. Mr. Sandor, what's your recommendation on the new charges?
Your Honor, the state would still ask that the order of commitment be issued and that she spend 29 days in the Lake County Jail to run concurrent on both cases. And additionally, the Leesburg Police Department is seeking $105 in cost of investigation reimbursement.
All right, your behavior was very offensive with the yelling and the cussing. And the officers asking you to quiet down. You wouldn't quiet down. A crowd started gathering, and you're still yelling and cussing. Mr. Sandor, could you come up here, please?
Yes, Your Honor.
I can do an amended court sheet marking it.
Well, I don't know if I told her or not. All right, Ms. Thomas, I am not going to sign the order of commitment today, but I may be signing it over the next few weeks after I listen to the tape to see if I told you in court no new law violations. If I told you in court and just didn't get marked on the court sheet, I may be signing this. But for right now, you have a disturbing the peace, a resisting without violence, and if you want to enter a no contest plea today, we'll make it 29 days for all 3 counts. For the old one, instead of paying the $200 fine, it would be 29 days. For the new one, the disturbing the peace and the resisting, it would be the same 29 days. So for 29 days, you can take care of all 3 counts, both cases, except for the mandatory costs. You would still have to do that separate. So for 29 days, you could take care of all of it. If you want to maintain your not guilty plea, I'll appoint the public defender.
I want to plead not guilty.
All right. I can tell you after I listen to the tape, I may be signing the order of commitment. I'm just not comfortable signing it today. So we're appointing the public defender, and could you call the blue people and ask them to get me a tape of September, whatever that was? All right, ma'am, we'll appoint the public defender. Have a seat. James Hilliard to the microphone, please. Maria Martinez. Excuse me a moment, sir. All right, Maria Martinez is pleading, so I just need to sign the paperwork, and she has a civil. Miss Annie, were you interpreting for Miss Martinez?
Yes, I am.
She has an expired registration. Has she fixed it?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe she has, and we are showing it to you.
Yes, Your Honor, I had seen proof previously. Ms. Braun had given me this.
Okay, it was expired less than 6 months, obviously. It was expired like the week before. All right, she pled to the criminal. I will dismiss this with a judicial warning. Miss Annie, could you explain to her that registration expires on the day of your birthday, not the end of the month? Everyone, did you hear that? When you have the decal on your car, that decal expires on your birthday, not at the end of the month. All right, so we'll get Ms. Martinez her paperwork. Mr. Hilliard, you are charged with,
I am on probation.
I see that, and I have a violation of probation here. I put you on probation in November. Probation officer said she told you that you're about to be suspended, don't drive, and you allegedly drove anyway. Mr. Sandor,
Yes, Your Honor.
I have a report here that he was in the FCST program
I s-
and apparently cooperating with that program.
Yes, Your Honor. I just spoke with Ms. Fisher from Livestream, and she said as of 2 days ago, he was still compliant with the program.
But his probation officer said, don't drive, you're about to be suspended, and he drove anyway.
He did, and this would habitualize him. His license is valid at this time.
How did he get it valid?
He was suspended just for failure to pay a fine the day after Christmas. He's reinstated and has a valid license at this time.
Actually, I don't see a fine. I have that he was reinstated, he was suspended for being late on his child support. But he turned his license expired in October. So he hasn't had a license since October. So until he just got it, when did you get it? What's the date that you just got it?
Ma'am, I have a written plea of not guilty to present. The driver's license on this one, the issue date is 11/16/2012.
And you were stopped.
My birthday is July 13th, 1958.
You got stopped January 10th, and your license had been suspended since Christmas. It says for failing to pay a fine, but I don't have that. Do you have a printout that shows what fine he hadn't paid?
I do not, Your Honor, but I could look up what I have in the clerk's system.
I found it.
Okay.
It was in Hernando. You were suspended December 26th for not paying the Hernando County ticket. And your probation officer told you not to drive, and allegedly you drove anyway. So that violates your probation.
May I say something, Your Honor? When she
Yeah.
told me not to drive, I did not drive.
You were charged with driving, once again, I'll repeat it, on January the 10th. Your license had been suspended since Christmas. And you should not have been driving, and she writes that she told you not to drive. So, Mr. Sandor, this is a little bit of a dilemma. He's doing well in the program,
Right.
so I hate to send him to jail and take him away from the program. But I'm also very offended that he's told, don't drive, and he gets in the car and drives anyway.
And it should be noted that he's on probation for 2 driving while license suspended.
No, I didn't note that. Thank you for pointing that out. I'm signing the violation of probation, and ordinarily it would be no bond. I think that's how I have to leave it and appoint the public defender and get something worked out.
The state could offer him a global to the violation and the new law offense today, but that would habitualize him.
This would be your third, and it would habitualize you. You would lose your license for 5 years.
Ma'am, I went to my attorney. My attorney told me to bring this written plea up
May I see it? Doesn't change the fact.
for just asking for 15 days.
Deputy Hand. Who's your attorney?
Buzz bond.
His name's not on this.
Well, I picked it up from his office yesterday, ma'am.
Well. Could you hand that back to him, please? There's probable cause to believe you violated your probation. So at this point, the choice is I set a bond amount or no bond is my usual.
They would leave that at Your Honor's discretion.
All right, then it's no bond for now. You're remanded to custody for violating probation, and you have a private attorney.
Yes, ma'am.
So you don't need the public defender. So we're serving the warrant on him, and he's entering a not guilty on the new charge.
What does that mean? Okay, but I want to put my driver's license and my stuff up. Hang on.
Nicole Burkhalter Thornton.
Going in my wallet. I did not.
All right, we're changing your criminal expired DL to a civil. I'm signing that right now. But you also had no proof of insurance.
I have it today, Your Honor. My husband bought me a new wallet, and I didn't put it in it. My negligence, I'll pay whatever fines.
You have a new driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you couldn't have gotten that driver's license without fixing the insurance, so that's,
I have insurance. I had it then, though. I'm sorry.
The answer is yes.
Yes.
so you're saying it was a mistake that you got charged? Well, your license had expired in 2003.
I just moved back from Los Angeles. I had a valid driver's license, and I have a registered vehicle in both states. So
How long have you been back in Florida?
I came back on December 31st at 11:59 this year. Prior to that, I was here.
So on that date, did you have a valid California license?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Sandor, if she was just here like a week and she had a valid California license,
And I had already been to the DMV, but I didn't have my marriage license. I was married
got
in
you? I got you.
Savannah.
I
and-
got you, stop. So, Mr. Sandor, I think she's fixed it now with amazing speed. You have a Florida license now.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's pretty amazing speed. I would like to dismiss this one with a judicial warning. While you're thinking about that, all right, you could not have gotten your Florida license without having insurance. And you're saying you had the insurance, what are you pulling?
I have my insurance card. I just got a new wallet.
Oh,
I didn't
okay,
have
let
it
me-
with me. I have my insurance and my license.
I thought you didn't have your wallet with you now.
No, I have it.
You didn't have it with you then.
I had a brand new wallet and had not put this in it.
Mr. Boone, could you bring me her insurance card, please? And don't leave here till I give it back to you. I'm notorious for
Yes,
forgetting
ma'am.
to do that. Mr. Boone, watch me every minute. Okay, thanks.
I do live in the state, so it was my negligence. I'll take responsibility, but I work for a national company and spend a lot of time out west. And
But at the time you were stopped, you had a valid California license. You'd been here less than 2 weeks.
I came December 31st, but I live here. I'm a resident. It was my negligence.
Now,
I lived here
okay, you
last
better
year a little
stop
bit as well.
while you're ahead.
Okay.
Yes, Mr.
Your Honor, the state's only issue is that she did present the Florida driver's license at the time of the incident. That's what's listed on the citation is.
You had a 2003 expired driver's license, you mean?
No, I showed and this is my Florida ID card because she told me that I owned a registered vehicle in
Okay,
the
stop. She went, as soon as she got here, she went to get a Florida license, but she didn't have all the paperwork. So she got an ID? They gave
No,
you
I
an
had
ID
I had an ID
from
already.
03.
No, it was from 2007. But I just had it, and she wanted Florida because my vehicle was registered here, but I also have a vehicle there, so
Did you show her your California license?
no, I did not.
Why not?
She didn't ask for it, and I didn't understand, and she kept saying I had to have Florida, that I was lying to her, and so I just went and got the Florida. I was waiting on paperwork, and I was telling her that I was married in Savannah, and she said it was already in the system.
Where's your California license now?
I turned it in.
Okay. On my printout, it does show she had a California license. I can't tell whether it was valid or not at the time.
It was,
Stop. Mr. Sandor, I'm still comfortable dismissing both. Her insurance was good as of November 12th.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Okay, we're going to dismiss, instead of reducing it, we're dismissing it.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Then you also had failure to display registration.
I couldn't find it in my glove box at the time, so I was really intimidated. I haven't been pulled over in a long, I just panicked, and I didn't. I'm sorry.
Okay. Was the vehicle registered?
Yes, ma'am. It's registered.
That's what you were telling me, it was already registered in Florida.
Yes, ma'am, I had already done it.
Okay. Okay, you are a nervous kind of person. All right, we've dropped everything. Wait for your paperwork. Filberto Martinez. Okay, Mr. Martinez, you speak English?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you had a driving while license suspended that we're changing to a civil. You'll have 6 months to pay it. Then you also had a violation of your learner's permit. You are not allowed to drive by yourself. How old are you?
21, Your Honor.
And when are you eligible to get your full-blown license?
I'm eligible to get it, but the job I hold right now is very strict on attendance, and I really necessarily don't drive to work. I carpool, so I figured I didn't really necessarily had to get it. I didn't really drive.
You got caught allegedly driving on January 16th,
That is correct.
and this is going to cost you hundreds of dollars. So wouldn't it make more sense to go ahead and get your driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
But you still haven't done that.
No, I went and got that fixed, but they told me I needed an appointment to take the test.
So,
I
make
have
an
to go.
appointment.
I have to go today after I get out of here. I took care of everything.
What time is your appointment?
11:45, I believe.
Okay, well, okay, you violated your learner's permit if you were by yourself, so I'm not giving you any break on that. Shame on you.
Yeah.
It's $160. Are you pleading no contest?
No contest.
I find you guilty. You have to pay the $160, but I'll give you until August 1st to do it. You're welcome to pay it sooner, but if you don't pay it by August 1st, your new license will get suspended.
All right.
All right, wait for your paperwork. Next is Stephen Wolliver. Ms. Fisher, can someone from FCST visit Mr. Hilliard in the jail so he can stay on track with the program?
Yes, Your Honor, we'd love to do that.
Okay, Mr. Hilliard, I'm gonna have, someone's gonna come see you from the program so you don't lose.
I was there, I saw my favorite person yesterday.
Well, I don't want you to get thrown out of the program because you don't show up tomorrow or whatever. Mr. Wolliver, you are charged with reckless driving, and the state reduced it to careless. You're a lucky man. I don't know what that was all about, but it's a careless. And then you also, because it was an ATV.
Yes, ma'am.
You also have operating an ATV on a public road. Do you understand that you cannot operate an ATV on the road at all, at any time?
Yes, ma'am, but these were dirt roads and with no names, no stop signs, and I just thought, okay,
If it's a private road, like your private driveway, no problem. If it's a road that other people can ride on, it's considered a public road and you can't ride an ATV on it.
yes, ma'am.
But I'm going to dismiss that one with a judicial warning. You do not have to pay the $166.
Yes,
But if you're caught again, and it comes in front of me, it's $166. That's not pocket change. All right, so now you're warned. There are some counties in Florida which allow people to drive ATVs like on dirt roads, but not in Lake County.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm dismissing it, but until the law changes, don't do it again. And Mr. Sandor, that has not changed, correct?
I don't believe so, no, that was not one of the updates.